Hi, I'm Bill Corcoran Jr. This is the On the Stacks podcast.
Oh yeah, whoa, look, they can never keep me down, I'm going, and if I ever fail, just know I'll go again. I never quit, cause I know that every loss may lead to another win. I'm going up.
You have to be open to leaning into discomforts and uncertainty and taking risks, and at least that, for me, that worked. For me, just kind of taking those steps and being uncomfortable, just helps push you, I think, as a person.
Today, I'm chatting with Chloe Fanelli, marketing director at Discount Dance and Anomaly Art Collective. She is also the costume designer for the Little Theater of Wilkes-Barre's Chicago and is an interior stylist, event coordinator, and personal trainer. This episode is brought to you by Burn, the fitness company behind the Today Show approved Burn board. If I'm being honest, working out can be a real chore, especially as a new dad in desperate need of sleep and cardio. Burn is founded by NEPA native Jimmy T. Martin, and his Burn board offers a low-impact core and cardio experience unlike anything I've done before. They have hundreds of on-demand workouts that are great for beginners, seasoned athletes, and out-of-shape podcast hosts who love supporting small businesses. My wife and I use it pretty frequently throughout the week, and it's honestly a great way to burn a ton of calories without burning a ton of cash. Not to mention, it's a great tool for skiers, runners, wrestlers, and hockey players. Jimmy is offering all On the Stacks listeners 15% off when they use the code STACKS15. Visit theburn.com today to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15 at checkout. Again, that's theburn, THEBRRN.com to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15. It's time to get on board today with Burn. This episode is brought to you by Blue Door Financial. Blue Door Financial will help you save money and reduce taxes to live a fuller financial life. To learn more, visit Blue Door Financial online at BLUdoorfinancial.com. That's BLUdoorfinancial.com. What's up, podcast episode 110 of the On the Stacks podcast here in the Blue Door studio. Welcome to the show, Chloe. How you doing?
Hi, Bill. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, wow, 110. That sounds like it's like really hard to say that number now. I can't even believe the show is this far in.
Yeah.
But yeah, all good. So I got to get my fan here.
Yes.
Right, my giant fan. I love this. I think I might keep it. You probably need that back for the show.
We may need it back for the show,
right.
but afterwards.
All right, I'll borrow it and use it as my fan in here.
Yeah, you might need it during the summer months.
I might. It gets warm in here.
Yeah.
The air conditioning kind of isn't that great in here. So. All right, yeah. So a little while back, you and I were just messaging on Instagram, and we were just we're talking about the podcast and you coming on, and you were telling me about all this stuff going on, which I had no idea of all the stuff that you do. That you do a lot, like marketing and former wine and health coach and personal training and interior design. There's just a lot of stuff, and you have this this entrepreneurial spirit. And where does that entrepreneurial spirit come from for you?
It's actually a really good question. I don't know. I think it's something that is very innate in me. I come from a very entrepreneurial family. My father has a business. Both my parents have a restaurant. My grandmother and my grandmother and grandfather actually had a beauty salon. My grandmother still works in her beauty salon. So yeah, I guess I come from a family of entrepreneurs and, hard workers and self-starters. So that's probably where it comes from.
So you kind of grew up around your parents and your grandparents all owning their own businesses.
Yeah. When I was little, I would go to my grandmother's shop on Saturdays with my mom, and I'd clean hairbrushes for her, and helped my dad all throughout high school in his restaurant. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
cool. It's always been a part of my life.
Yeah, and also I've said this a million times on the show before, but I really enjoy having people on the show that are just super, super passionate about what they do. Mm-hmm. And just from knowing you and seeing, some of your content on Instagram and social media, I could just see your passion for everything you do. And I really like having people like that on the show because you really love what you do. And I think that's so important to be able to just talk about your passion and why you do what you do. So like, let's kind of go back a little bit for you so we can kind of learn a little bit about your backstory and a lot of the things that you've done, and we'll cover a lot of stuff today, but let's kind of take it back to like, where was your first passion? Like, what was your first passion? Like, what were you doing?
So I guess I would say my first pursuit into something I was passionate about was having my own wine importing business. I was co-founder and co-owner of, and I spent a summer in Italy when I was in college, actually at my cousin's vineyard in Italy, learning the winemaking process, learning all about wine, and just completely immersed in the culture. I had a really fortunate opportunity to basically travel, the whole country with cousins that lived in various towns and cities. So I was exposed to, the food culture, the wine culture. And when I was going back into my senior year of college, and I knew that somehow I wanted to incorporate that, in my life, but I didn't necessarily want to move to Italy to make that happen. And, fast forward a couple years later, an opportunity came about where I was able to import my cousin's wine into the U.S. And, it blossomed into something where I left my full-time job at that time. And it became, 4 or 5 years of my life traveling the world, sourcing wines, bringing them back into the state of Pennsylvania, working with the PLCB, driving into that passion of travel, culture, wine, foods. I just love immersing myself in all of that. And I feel like later on in life, in the past few years, the design element of what I was exposed to from traveling so much and seeing things and just having an eye for aesthetics helped me kind of move more into that direction of like interior design and styling and things like that. I don't know what that's called. I feel like there's like no definition for it, but it's some like weird area where like culture, wine, food, design, and like all of that intersect.
I don't know. Mesh.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, well, I kind of know what you're. I don't know what it is either.
But I live in that.
Yeah, you live in that bubble.
I live in that bubble.
Yeah.
Maybe someday somebody will come up with a word for it. But yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I want to go back to Italy. I want to hear more about your time. So, how old were you? Like 21?
I was 21. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you go there for like a summer? Was it?
I went there for a summer.
Like when you were in college. Mm-hmm. All right. So tell me more about the Italy experience. I want to know about it.
The Italy experience. That was a fun time. I was living with family, so it was like your non-traditional kind of study abroad, because I got credits through my college for the internship, but it wasn't through like another school in Italy. So basically I went over and I lived with my dad's brother and his wife and my cousins, so my aunt and uncle, in a very small town in southern Italy called Puglia. Well, the region's Puglia. The town is called Bolzano, and the nearest city to that is Taranto. So it's right in the heel of the boot. My dad will really appreciate this little point that I'm making, because that's how he always references the part of Italy that he's from.
Is the heel on the boot?
It's the heel of the boot.
Is that what he says? Like whenever he says, "This is where I'm from," and you look at the map and you're like, "Right there, the heel of the boot."
Well, actually, what he does is he shows you his hand and he goes, okay. "See, this is the heel of the boot. I'm from right here."
With the hand.
With the hand.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
That's his visual representation. Now I just did it. Yeah. This is the first time I've ever done that. So yeah, it's not a very touristy area. It's just bathed in these beautiful white sand beaches, just like your quintessential Italian kind of, seaside village. And I would work at my uncle would drive me to the winery every day, and I'd go to work. I was calling on importers actually across Europe. So I would try and teach myself how to speak different languages, because I had to call a lot of contacts in Germany. So I would,
So you had to like learn like
so
all
I was
this
like,
stuff.
Guten Morning and like Guten Tag, like this is Chloe. And like, soon they would know I did not know how to speak German, but at least I would get them on the phone.
Yeah.
And, it helped kind of segue. I feel like they thought, well, at least she's trying, she's paying us some respect. So yeah, that summer was, I worked at the vineyard, and then in the afternoons you had siesta. So you would go home in the afternoon. My family would make this huge feast, maybe go to the beach for a little bit.
Like in the middle of your day.
In the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, they haven't made.
Oh my God.
They haven't made there. And then, go back to work for a couple hours. And, my uncle would pick me back up. I think that was the hardest part is I'm such an independent person, and having to be like driven to somewhere and then picked up and not have my own vehicle was, difficult for me. But I had a lot of adventures there. And even though I didn't speak the language that well, I somehow like picked it up just by going out with friends of my cousins, and we would go to like all of these crazy places at, I don't know, clubs and things like that, just like outdoor music venues that were so neat that we just don't have here. So it was just very, very fun time. Late nights, early mornings, I would not be able to keep up with that lifestyle now, that's for sure. Yeah. So I'm glad I got it out of my system then. And yeah, so that was, again, like my first, I feel like, real exposure and taste to immersing myself in that culture. I went not speaking a lick of Italian, and I came back almost bilingual. My dreams were in Italian, and that's kind of how I knew that.
Whoa,
I had
dreams in Italian?
I was dreaming in Italian. And then my thoughts.
Did it make sense to you though? Like when you woke up?
Yeah. Oh, made perfect sense to me.
Wow.
Yeah. And then my thoughts like were in Italian. And that's a really cool thing. Like for anybody who I guess is listening, who speaks another language or is like, learned a second language later on in life, they could probably relate to that feeling when when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking in another language that's not English. And like,
yeah.
My dreams are in this other language. So I wish I kept up with it. I'm not bilingual, sadly, at the moment, but a couple glasses of wine in me and in the right setting. If I'm over there, I could probably figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was the culture like over there?
Very warm, very, warm. And I feel like living life to the fullest type of culture. They, I always get this reversed. It's like they don't live to work. They work to live. I think that's the right way. Or is it reverse?
I think it might be reversed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They hold on, wait. We got to think about that. I got to think about this for a second. This is like a mind twister. They work. No, they live to work. I think you did say it right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But live
we
to
know what we mean.
Yeah, I think so. Well, everybody knows what we mean. I don't know if we're saying it right, but yeah.
They have a much more.
They live to the fullest.
Yeah, I think they have a higher quality life, I guess. They don't sacrifice enjoying life for whatever may be causing that, whether it be work or, outside stressors. Somehow it's like they deflect that, and they focus on like what really matters in life and making memories and spending time with family and, involving themselves in pursuits that they're passionate about. And I think that I probably took a page from that in how I want to like live and design my life.
Yeah. What else did you learn while you were over there? And besides good wine and good food.
Yeah.
Siestas.
What else did I learn?
Like what was another cool experience?
So many. And it's like, being on the spot, I'm probably forgetting some of them.
So like, do people actually like smash grapes, like stomp them? Is that like a real thing?
That is, it is a real thing.
Or is that just like for show?
I mean, I think it was much more common back in the day when there wasn't such great, advanced technology with winemaking. I think in some, smaller family-owned wineries, I'm sure that they still have that kind of practice just for fun.
Yeah,
they may not even drink the
just
wine.
like a tradition.
Just a tradition. I never got to take part in that.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I can't even. There's such experiences and memories.
And you said earlier on too. You said about like the like some things that helped you now, like in your styling business.
Yeah.
You learned just from seeing and learning the culture in Italy. And did you travel? Did you also say you traveled like in other countries too? Like you didn't just stay right in Italy. Like you did travel around quite a bit.
So that summer I stayed in Italy, but I traveled basically the whole length and width of the country. So like I said, I was not stationed.
Yeah.
I was living in southern Italy, but then I had cousins that live in Torino, which is, way up north. So I got to, see that kind of lifestyle. There is definitely a major difference between how the northerners live versus the southerners.
Like how so?
They're a lot more, precise, a little bit more uptight, I want to say.
Okay.
Like
not as laid back.
Not as laid back. Yeah.
Okay.
It's known for its industry. So, people I think hold themselves to a much like tighter schedule, more promptness. And then you get to Southern Italy and it's like the train
goes.
may come at like 10 o'clock in the morning, may come at 10:15. It may not come at all.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
That's something I definitely learned while I was there. And I actually just had a thought of something and now I forgot, but I'll try and think of it later on. But
so you traveled up north.
Yeah, traveled up north, throughout Tuscany and Rome, which is kind of in the center of the country. I've actually throughout, that trip and just many of the times traveling over there with the wine business, I probably have been to most of the regions of Italy.
Wow.
Yeah, even some of the islands like
the whole
Sardinia,
boot.
Sicily. Yeah.
Been around the whole boot.
Yeah. So
Wow.
Can't wait
That's
to
cool.
go back.
So you did that one summer, and then did you spend some more? Did you go back again?
Yeah. I've been to Italy quite a few times. Just back and forth with the wine business. I was there sometimes every other month. So many times during the year that I can't even tell you how many times I've actually been there.
Yeah.
That it became, I hate to say it, but when you do something so often, unfortunately, you sometimes take it for granted. It becomes something that is just like commonplace. And, when that part of my life was over, I really became sad about that because I was like, was I really grateful and appreciate that for what it was? I mean, some people were going off to, the office. I was getting on a plane to fly to Italy, and I was like, oh, that's my work day. Like I have to go taste hundreds of wines.
Yeah. Oh my God. What a terrible day.
I know.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Just your perspective. And I always say this, and I think I mentioned it to you. Like, I think I've been afforded, a lot of different perspectives, which I'm very grateful for in like my short life on earth so far.
Yeah.
I think I've, been able to really learn a lot from being exposed to those things. So that's something that ever becomes part of my life again that I will not take for granted.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So after wine, what came next?
So after wine came a point where I didn't know what I wanted to do, with my life. And I was pretty young. I had started that business when I was 24. And by the time I was out of that business, I was around 28. And, I kind of felt like I was put in a washing machine and like put on spin and like just spat out. Like I was like, where am I going? What am I doing? I felt like I had such a clear direction. I felt like I had a purpose. And then all of a sudden it was like, no, like what are you here for? What are you going to do? It was a time of really searching. And, I'm always thankful for the wonderful people that I have in my life. And I was given, some opportunities to work different jobs with my marketing and, kind of event planning experience, but nothing really was very fulfilling to me.
Nothing was doing it for you.
It wasn't doing it for me. And it's, in a way, I was spoiled from what I had come from. You go from having your own business to then having to work for somebody, and which I have no problem with, but it's a learning curve. It's, going back to something that just wasn't a part of your life for so long that, I guess once you have a taste of something and you realize what it could be, it's hard to settle then for something that you're not fulfilled by because you know what that feels like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
so did you feel like almost like you like were taking a step back or you had to take a step back?
Yeah, I felt like I took like light years back.
Okay. So more than a step.
Yeah. You know, I was just, it was a really, you know, hard time. And I'm sure other people, you know, can relate to that or, you know.
Yeah. Any entrepreneur, I think, could.
Yeah. I think, yeah, it's, you know, it's those growing pains. And so it took me probably, I would say, the next 4 years to figure it out again, you know, what I wanted to do. So I ended up back in marketing, which was kind of like what my roots were in once I graduated college. I was in digital marketing. And even that position, while it was great, you know, for the time, it just still was not what I really wanted to be doing. I loved marketing, but it just wasn't the space within marketing because there's so much that you can do within it. It just wasn't the fit for me. So I ended up taking, during that time, COVID actually happened. So I'll rewind. I was actually going to be moving to Philadelphia, spring of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was going to be moving to the company I was working for. I was going to be working out of their location there. And then I had just gotten back from Switzerland for a 30th birthday. I went with two really good girlfriends of mine. And we almost had gotten stuck in Switzerland
because of COVID.
Because of COVID, it was just starting to like break out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get home and yeah, I'm gonna be planning this, you know, move to Philadelphia, and within the next couple weeks, COVID breaks out. So then, you know, we're working from home full time, and that like extended into the fall. During the fall, which was like I guess the heat or the real heat of COVID.
Yeah.
I got it was another kind of like eye-opening moment that I was exposed to in my life when my father was diagnosed with cancer. So it was like, you know, we're living in this weird world, and then that really makes you kind of look inside, you know, asking yourself questions like, is this where I want to be right now? How do I get to where I want to be? What steps need to be taken? And then you have, you know, your father, you know, somebody who you're so close with, get diagnosed with this awful disease, and you realize how precious and how short life is. And it was, you know, just another kind of, I don't know, brick on top of everything that it kind of made me take a hard look. And I ended up putting in my notice at my job because it just was not fulfilling to me. And I was like, I need to start gaining experience in things that I want to do. And I ended up taking kind of a gap year from the corporate world and learning some new things. So I love interior design, as I mentioned. And
yeah, you styled the stacks today.
Yeah, style the stacks.
Yeah, you're hired.
I will accept. I will accept. It was a lot of fun, actually. But yeah, so I ended up taking this position doing interior design work at a local furnishing company, Kurlanchik Home Furnishings. And I learned a lot from Ronnie, the owner, and the other designers there. It was a lot of fun. At the same time, I was actually working at Matterns Floral, and I was learning how to create floral designs, centerpieces, all things like that. And I'll tell you, it was a really fun year, mixing things up and, you know,
just trying new things.
Yeah. And I feel like most people probably, you know, looked at like, what is she doing?
Yeah, like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Here?
Is Chloe losing it? Like, you know, she,
yeah. But you were just kind of like finding yourself.
I was finding myself. And I think I was truly like staying true to myself, you know, and, something.
Did you get like any like criticism from people? Or you probably just thought like,
some people, there were comments that were made at whether they were, you know, trying to be me. Like, I don't think they were trying to be. Yeah. I think they were trying to look out and just, you know, they wanted me to make the best decisions for, you know, what they thought would be good for my life. And who knows, they could have been right. They could have been wrong. We will never know. I made the decision anyway.
Yeah.
Which is very me. And
so you just went for it.
Yeah, just went for it. And I'm happy I did because, you know, in some ways, maybe it was considered taking a step back. But I think that sometimes you have to take steps back to propel you forward. And if anything, it confirmed for me what this, innate sense of this innate passion for design, for creating. I've always been a creative person, and more so for myself. Like it was never something I really did anything with, in high school. Like it's not something I wasn't in like an art club. I wasn't
you weren't like a known creator.
No, I wasn't in like the theater group, but like I loved all of those things. I just never got involved in them. So I feel like I'm a bit of a late bloomer in terms of, actually gravitating towards the things that I love to do. And I'm happy that I got there. Like I'm happy that I didn't continue living in that space where I didn't move forward with those things, or I was afraid to, or, I was always very shy when I was young. So that was a hurdle for me, to get involved in some things and really put myself out there and, be bad at something, or, have to work harder at something. So, I feel like it sounds like funny, but I feel like once you kind of put yourself out there and make that decision that you want to like just go for it and put yourself out there and whatever happens, I feel like things just come to you. Like I feel like you become a magnet for opportunities, learning experiences. And, I feel like a lot of opportunities have come my way, and that's what keeps me busy, because I feel like any opportunity is something I learned from and could make, I could gain experience in. And it has been that way. One thing leads to another. You meet people, you grow your network, and you get to do things that you love. Yeah.
So you kind of just put yourself, I think that's so important. Like, honestly, because I feel like, like you said, like you probably thought, or you may have had some people that were criticizing, or like you just knew that people were probably thinking like you said, like what's she doing? Like what the hell's going on? But like, so you pieced together like a couple different things and you just like made it work.
Yeah. I really did just piece together.
Yeah,
like,
no, that's
things.
But I think it's so like interesting that, like you said, like the fact that you did this and you did that, and you're figuring it out, and you found that creative side of you that you didn't know that you had in high school.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like, it's kind of how you were adjusting like the knobs on that thing before, it's like, you're pulling pieces of yourself, like a little bit here, a little bit there. And then it's like, you're fine tuning like who you are as a person and defining who you are as a person. And I think, your teenage years, you really don't maybe know who you are. Your 20s, you kind of don't really know who you are. You're getting there. And now I'm in my early 30s, and I feel like, my 20s was such a great journey to get to where I think I know myself pretty well by now, and I think the learning will just continue. But during that time, you have to be open to that. You have to be open to leaning into discomforts and uncertainty and taking risks. And at least that, for me, that worked. For me, just kind of taking those steps and being uncomfortable, just helps push you, I think, as a person. And it helps you, just be able to get involved in different things.
Was there like a certain like instance or like a light bulb that went off in your head? Like when you were doing the couple different things that you put together, like you're doing the floral and the interior design stuff. Like, was there a moment in your life, personally or professionally, that you're like, yeah, this is it? Like, did you have like that moment, or was it just kind of like just building as you were going?
Yeah. I feel like it was both, there are some certain experiences, like last year, actually, I was on a styled shoot with Mattern's Floral, and we were doing it for Brittany Boot, who, as many of listeners may know, she's an amazing photographer. Yeah, shout out to Brittany, amazing photographer from our local area. And she was doing a styled bridal shoot in the Iram Temple, which is such a cool space. If anybody ever gets the opportunity
they're still like restoring that,
up
right?
there, they're still restoring it, which is like such an amazing project. I would love to be a part of that.
Yeah. Listen up, people.
Yeah. Just add it onto the list.
Yeah.
But we were doing the styled bridal shoot, and Matterns was doing the florals for it, and I was a part of setting this up, and we were staging this old piano that was up there with just like wild greens coming out of it and all of these different flowers, like according to the color palette that she was using. And the model was there, beautiful model from, I think she was from New York City, and gorgeous wedding dress. And it was just like this magical moment of all of these things coming together, all of these beautiful elements, and, seeing an artist in their element, seeing Brittany in her element, and, Alyssa, who, she's a wizard with florals at Matterns, seeing her in her element and just like learning from her and working with her. It was freezing cold. I had gloves on. I had to buy like those hot pad things, those warmers.
Yeah.
And I had them in my boots and everything. And like I had this hat on, and we're working in these like cold temperatures. But it was just a magical moment. And I was like, I remember coming home and I was like, this is like, you just feel it,
Yeah.
Just the energy of everybody. And I'm feeling that same energy now, like with the Little Theater of Wilkes-barre, and just working with such a talented cast, and, the buzz like in the theater before press shots. And just, I feel like when you see people like in their element, it brings, and, they're shining, like it brings out that element in you. It brings out like the best version of you. And I like to be surrounded by that.
Yeah. So speaking of the Little Theater, I feel like I need to bring my fan back out right now, right? So what's going on at the Little Theater of Wilkes-barre?
So the Little Theater of Wilkes-barre is putting on a beloved Broadway classic, as you probably know, Chicago.
Yeah, of course.
It's actually one of my favorite musicals. And yeah, when I got the word from my friend Lauren Medico. She's one of my good friends. We actually work together at Discount Dance. Many people in the area probably know her as well. She's an amazing performing artist, professional dancer.
Just got married, right?
Just got married to Lorenzo. Yeah. Shout out to Lorenzo as well.
Congrats, Lorenzo.
Congratulations to the Medicos.
Yeah.
People probably see Lauren and I together literally all the time because we work together, we travel for work together, and we're involved in this project together. And yeah, she was applying for a choreographer position on the production crew for Chicago. And she was like, she's like, I feel like you'd be amazing at costume design. Like, you love that stuff. You love fashion, you love design. You have an eye for it. She's like, I think, you should submit your resume and portfolio. So I did. And we submitted under Angel Berlane Mulcahy's production crew. She's the director for the musical, and we got it. Her as choreographer and me as costume designer, and we got Discount Dance, who is our employer, the largest dancewear retailer in the U.S. We got them to sponsor it and actually become a creative partner for future productions at the Little Theater of Wilkes-barre. So they actually donated all the costumes. So it's, hence why I have some of the character shoes here.
Yeah, that I put on.
And tights, that you put on.
I didn't put the tights on, but.
Yeah, we have fishnets, we have fringe.
Did it all.
Yeah. So it's just, that's another cool thing. I think I always find synchronicities, and it's like, dancewear supplier to people who, work for that company in the local area, who happen to be very passionate about the arts and performing arts, and, find this opportunity, and you just bring it all together. I think it's just, I don't know, synchronicities like that are just really amazing when they happen.
Yeah. So what is it about like art and culture and, the Little Theater of Wilkes-barre? Like, what is it about all that you just really love?
I love I guess I love the community aspect of it. And I think that's, that was what was conveyed by Lauren and I to, our company, is just that the arts are something to keep alive. And I feel like they could bring out sometimes the best in people. And like I said, just working with that talent and being exposed to it and being around it, it's very inspiring, and these actors and actresses and the production crew, this isn't their full-time job. They're not full-time actors or actresses. Some of them are students still in high school. Some of them are in college. Some of them are, going to be entering law school. Some of them are lawyers. Some of them are, broadcasters. So, everybody has this like life outside of it. And I feel like it goes back to that kind of European way that I fell in love with, that, they have their professional life, and then they also have that time that's for them, that allows them to maybe be who they really are, and for me, I feel like I'm who I really am when I'm around that stuff. It just brings you to a place where everything else gets stripped away, and you could be like the raw individual that you are,
Yeah. So so for you, it kind of explained that about yourself. Because I think you like a little bit, you touched on a little bit earlier that you found yourself through this.
Yeah.
Like you said, even in high school, you weren't really involved in theater.
No.
Right?
No. I was not involved in anything.
And why? Was it just because you were too shy, or just you didn't know that the passion was there until you tried? Is that why?
Yeah. I mean, in high school, I probably wouldn't say I was shy in high school. I was shyer when I was younger.
Yeah.
If anybody's listening to this and went to high school with me, they'd be like, she was not shy.
Okay.
I was just more rebellious in high school,
okay.
But, we won't go there.
All right, well, off the record.
Yeah, off the record.
Yeah.
But I also always felt like, and I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I always felt like I had all this time in life, almost like your life was a movie, and if you didn't like the first run of it, you could go and do it again. I don't know what illusion I was living under for so many years of my life, but it was almost like, yeah, it's something I want to do, but I'll get to it. And I think turning 30 2 years ago was such an eye-opener too. It's like, girlfriend, there's no second go with this.
Yeah, there's no take two.
You're only going to get your 20s and 30s and your youth for so long that you need to start doing these things that you think that you may want to do. You didn't do it when you were younger, and if you don't scratch that itch that you have to do it now, how can you be the best version of yourself, basically, if you don't explore these things? I didn't even mention this, I forgot, but during COVID, when I was kind of very very introspective, I feel like, and looking in, I had actually applied to do some acting classes with the Barrow Group out of New York City. So obviously we live in a smaller area where, acting classes aren't really readily available.
Yeah, few and far between.
Yeah. And COVID kind of allowed, bigger cities that have those at their disposal to open up for online classes and stuff. And I have to tell you, that experience and signing up for that was also, I feel like, such an eye-opener for me, because in another life, I probably would have loved to have tried out for acting or tried to have been an actress. And I think it just would have been a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Once I actually did these classes and kind of, did some run throughs with my classmates that were in it. And I met such amazing people. And again, everybody had a similar story. It was COVID really made them look in and were like, you know what? I want to do this. I want to pursue it. I want to see what it brings out in me. And I feel like all of these little side ventures that I got myself involved in, they all just helped help me get acquainted with myself better, because I wasn't forcing myself to do any of these things. These were things that I chose to seek out and do.
Yeah. So you really just tried a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
And you really just found what worked.
Yeah. And I know what doesn't work. When I feel like I'm very good at that, when I know that something doesn't feel right or it feels forced, it's something I just won't continue with, or I won't go with.
Yeah.
I know it brings me joy and what does not.
Yeah. So what would you suggest if somebody's listening or watching? What would you suggest, to somebody, yourself a few years ago, for example, that you were unsure or what you wanted to do, and what would you say to somebody like that might be wondering what's next for me?
I would say something that really helped me was journaling. And it's a practice that I still maintain. It really helped me navigate to, I feel like, my true north. I feel like it, was that compass for me. to guide me to where I wanted to be or things that I wanted to explore. It helped me narrow it down more. And just, I think, being mindful of things that sparked joy within me. Like, for instance, when I was traveling and seeing design, in different areas, like it was always something that was like a mental note for me that I was like, oh, like that brings me joy. Like that excites me, that interests me. So it was like, okay, bookmark in my mind. Movies and the arts, like performing arts and acting and stuff, that was always something that was of interest to me and sparked joy in me. So it was like another bookmark. I think it's a lot of, keeping those mental notes for yourself and being mindful of what those are. And then, taking that to pen to paper, and kind of writing that out more for yourself. I know for me, I need to work things out sometimes on paper because it's just too much jumbled up in my head.
So what would you do? Like, give me an example. Like, would you just, I'm sure it was probably a mix of everything, but like, did you just like some days just write down random thoughts? Did you write down plans, goals, like
yes,
mix of everything?
All of it.
All right, well, tell me.
Yeah, I would, I have a doodle book. Like sometimes I would just literally doodle and, things that I had in my head, like words that I wanted to use to describe like what I was going to do. There's just random words like written down. Like if I wanted to do like a photo shoot I was like rehabbing furniture at one point. So I was going to like the Salvation Army and, or like Facebook Marketplace, and I was getting furniture and I was stripping it and refurbishing it. And I had this idea to do like really cool photo shoots, like with the furniture, with like having people like models in, I don't know, outfits that I guess would complement the furniture. And so I put like photo shoot, furniture, sexy, like provocative, like color themed. So just to get it on paper. And so like there's notes like that. There's diagrams of like, okay, there's like fitness related stuff, which is a topic we didn't even dive into.
I was just thinking about it. I'm looking at these dumbbells over here. I was going to start doing some bicep curls.
And like, my goals and related to that, because that's a huge part of my life, just maintaining, strength and health and, professional, I guess, certifications that I wanted to obtain within that, because I wanted to learn more about the human body and I wanted to be able to propel, myself in that direction. Design, like, what does that look like? I started doing tablescapes because during the holidays, I would love to decorate the table and, add florals and add candles. And it was like, okay, that's in the design circle. And then like it was like a sun. It was like the design was like the center of it in the circle. And then like coming off of it was like all of these other like little avenues of like, okay, how could I incorporate design in my life? And that's kind of how I was able to make like those next steps in my life. It was kind of calculated and haphazard.
Yeah. It was kind of, you were kind of like manifesting like what you wanted.
Yeah. I had a list of things that I wanted to accomplish in 2 years. And it's funny, before I came on here today, I was actually looking back at that particular journal. And
one of them was be on the On This Tax podcast.
One of them was like being involved in podcasts, because I love podcasts. I listen to them all the time. And like in another life, I would love to also have a podcast, because I love what you're doing right now. I love like learning about people. I think it's really cool what you've started here. Like this is a perfect example of something that you're passionate about, that you've
just
done,
tried it,
that you've tried, and I'm sure it wasn't easy at first.
No.
So yeah, like most of those things that were on my list, I did.
That's good.
So
that's awesome.
However it happened, I obviously did work towards those things, but also I do believe in manifesting. I do believe in, you want something bad enough, you make it happen. You have to have like that grit and perseverance, and just, you surround yourself with good people. And, you be as good as you can to people as well. And I feel like good things come about, Yeah,
definitely. 100%. Mm-hmm. I think when you put yourself out there, I think you'd be surprised at how many people will, like, I think you said it earlier, will just kind of the opportunities will come to you.
Yeah.
Like once you kind of put it out there, like same thing with this, like you said, like with this podcast, like I just started. I had no clue what I was doing. Still don't. I'm halfway there. No,
I mean,
like,
it seems like you do with the setup in here and like,
yeah, it looks legit, right? Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's just like putting yourself out there and just trying.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, then so what? Like, then do something else or just like tweak it, change it.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, ego can't have a part in any of it. So what? So you mess up.
Yeah.
So you make mistakes. So you fail. I've failed many times.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to say that. And I'm sure I'm going to fail more, but I feel like you fail forward, as long as you learn something from that, then that was a good thing.
Yeah. So all right. So you talked a little bit about the fitness. I have to start pumping some iron over here now,
yeah,
right?
Those 4-pounders.
Whew, heavy. Oh my God. All right. So it's like was fitness always a big part of your life?
Yeah, I would say like exercise was always a part of my life when I was younger. My aunt actually was big into exercising, and she was my idol when I was growing up. She just with like fashion and everything. When she would be going out, I'd always be in her room and, just admire her. And I feel like I got a lot of like that flair from her. And just because she was, my mom's younger sister. So she was still younger and kind of like going out when I was little. So she was into exercise and I was like, I like exercise, and just when I was younger, I always liked to like keep in shape and stay active. I wasn't like any athlete or anything like that. It was just more so something for me. And just as I, got older, it became just a like daily practice in my life. I feel better when I know I feel stronger and healthier and my body's working with me,
Like the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. And I would say like in my 20s is when I started, like my early 20s is when I really started to get into it more, where it became like, a routine for me. I had a home gym. I went to the classes every day. I learned, the basics. And as time went on, just, worked from there. And usually when it's something I'm interested in and I love, I want to learn more about it. So I always end up becoming a little bit more vested in it. And, fast forward to when I was trying to find myself in like that 2018 range, I actually went back to school for a little bit and took some anatomy and physiology courses at LCC to learn more about, the human body, the skeletal system, the muscular system, and all of that.
That complicated stuff.
All of that complicated stuff, which I love. It's funny because I feel like I'm very, I don't know, what is it, like right or left brain? Whatever the creative side is, I feel like I lean.
Yeah, that's where you're at, yeah.
But I also love the sciences, like in that aspect.
Yeah.
So it just helped kind of like mold all of that together for me. And, I ended up becoming certified through precision nutrition for the nutrition end of it, because obviously food's always been a big part of my life with my family, having a restaurant and, just making sure that it's always healthy and like whole foods derived, and learning how to nourish your body properly, basically, learning that food is information. And that helped, again, just another vein of something that helped bring everything full circle in that, I guess, health and fitness arena. And then became certified through ACSM for personal training, because I felt like people would start to ask me questions and I never felt comfortable really giving any advice without being certified. And it was something I truly just enjoyed. I really don't do a whole lot with it, to be honest with you, now.
As a personal trainer?
Yeah, it's just something I have.
Yeah.
But I really, I just don't have time. I wish I had more time, but I don't.
Yeah.
But it's, something in my daily life that is a daily practice. And so I got certified with that. And it's, that's how I start my day every morning, is I go to the gym and I have that time for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of fitness, one of my sponsors, I'd be remiss not to mention it, even though there was an ad before the show. But Burn, I don't know if you ever heard of Burn. Local. Yeah. So he's a local guy, Jimmy Martin. Shout out to Jimmy, one of my favorite guys in the whole world. But they have this slide board. So they were in New York City, COVID, they pivoted. They're now like at home fitness. They have hundreds of like online virtual classes that you can take, but it's a slide board. So like it's aerobics, but it's also like, I have my 2-pound dumbbells at home cause I'm real strong too, but no, like I kind of just started, I kind of fell off the wagon, as they say, I became a new dad and I gained a few pounds. And so I'm kind of trying to get back into my fitness thing myself. And, but yeah, so I teamed up with my buddy Jimmy from Burn, and I have this slide board at home, which I use. I should be using it more though, and so should everybody listening. So yeah, but no, in all seriousness, Stacks15 is the code. If anyone's interested, you buy the board, they send it to you, it comes to your house, and then you sign up. You have an online subscription. You do the workouts at home, and it's a gym that fits under your couch, they say.
That's amazing.
Because it's just a board like on the ground. Yeah. And you can literally slide it like under your couch.
Yeah, see, no excuses.
So, yeah, Jimmy, how did I do it? If he's listening, he's going to critique me and be like, "Bill, you did great. 10 out of 10." So yeah, so I'm kind of trying to get back on my fitness journey myself.
That's amazing. Well, I applaud you with that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So, all right. Well, there's a commercial for Burn.
I might have to try that slide board.
Yeah, check it out and make sure you use the code. Save yourself a few bucks.
Yeah.
Take money out of Jimmy's pocket and put it back in yours.
Sounds good.
All right. So fitness. Eating, you got the dance, costume designer. Like you got a real lot going on. How do you manage your time and all this stuff, and how do you manage to do all these different things?
That is the $1 million question.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I will say that. It's early mornings for me. I really try. I'm an early riser. I love being up in the morning. I wouldn't say I'm a night owl. I'm the opposite. So, really trying to fit everything into the day. Sometimes I may wake up at 3 a.m. and
early
start my day
on the burn board.
So yeah, maybe on the burn board.
Yeah.
But yeah, having my breakfast, going to the gym, getting that part of my day that's for me out of the way. And then, projects outside of work that I'm working on, get those done in the morning. I feel like when I'm most productive is those early hours. So like 5, 6, 7 in the morning.
So do you do like some of this stuff in the morning, like before like your day job?
Yeah.
Right? You do like some of this side hustle stuff, and then your day job, and then you go back to more in the evening?
Yeah. And right now, when this is airing right now, it's definitely even more chaotic just because,
yeah, Chicago's
going to be here in less than 2 weeks. So it's, burning the oil, whatever they say,
late night,
both ends.
Yeah.
So early mornings, late nights. I was yawning before I got on here, but now I got got a
little pumped
boost.
up.
I got a little pumped up here.
Got pumped up.
So yeah, it's hard. I think that's, the biggest part is I always say I wish I didn't have to sleep because I would be up all the time. I would just love to be doing things, time is like, I'm just very,
we need more of it.
I'm so obsessed with time. I'm always late. I mean, anybody who knows me knows
but
I'm always late.
You were on time today.
I was on time
I think
today,
you were early, actually. I think you were a couple
early.
minutes early.
But it's always because it's not for not trying. It's because I pack too much in. I think I could
that's
handle,
it's a good problem.
Get more done than I could, and then I run late.
It's all right.
But yeah, I mean, just trying, I guess, to make your lifestyle as conducive to what your goals are as possible. I don't really go out. I don't have like late nights. I don't go, out, really drinking or like to the bars or anything like that. It just, I don't have the time to really do that. I need all of my working energy for what I'm trying to do. So I feel like that helps. It just, you prioritize your life. You make it, conducive to what your goals are and what the projects are that you have, so you can show up as the best person for those things. And yeah, for me, that's on an ideal day, that's how it starts. That 3, 4 a.m. wake up, get that in, and, in bed by like 9 o'clock. That's ideal. That is not what's happening in my life right now at all.
A little craziness right now.
Yeah, but it's a good craziness. It's really good. And that's when if I was like complaining and if I was angry and like frustrated, which it's been stressful, but sometimes I say to myself, why do I sign myself up for all of these things?
Why did I say yes?
Yeah. But, it's always that tipping the scale of, taking like that, if the scales are balanced and it's like, okay, do I take this opportunity or do I not? The scales are always going to be tipped towards taking that, because again, I always think of like the bigger picture of what that can be, what it can lead to. So yeah, if you're listening, you're trying to, I guess, organize your day. Don't go by what I'm doing right now, but
yeah, but take some of the advice.
Yeah, I think, organizing your life so it could be as conducive as possible for your goals. And yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Well, good. So like, what else, is there anything else about like the Little Theater of Wilkes-barre, like, Chicago coming up? I know at the time of this recording, like it's going to be happening. So like, it's already going to be happened by the time that this episode comes out, which is super cool. And congratulations, by the way,
thank you
on that whole thing. I could tell
it's a group effort. It's really, I mean, I'm working with such talent, just, from the production crew, as I mentioned, to the actors and actresses. I'm in really good company, and, I feel like it's an honor to be working with them. So
yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone's listening and if they want to, either connect with you or get more information from you, whether it's interior design work or whether you're going to take on that personal training client one of these days or not, like how can somebody connect with you online?
So you can email me. It's my first name, dot my last name at gmail.com, or my Instagram handle is Chloe_X_Valentina. And I'd say those are the best ways to probably get in touch with me. If it's something related to Discount Dance, see Fanelli at discountdance.com.
Cool. And real quick, so before we end, because we didn't really talk about it a whole lot, but like real quick, like what is Discount Dance and like what all do you sell?
Oh, Discount Dance is the #1 dancewear retailer in the US. So anything from your tights, your undergarments,
the shoes that I wore, on the
shoes
stacks.
that you wore, he wore. For anybody who's listening, our theatricals style number T3300 character shoe,
the best,
yes, which is actually what the actresses are going to be wearing in Chicago.
I feel legit.
Yeah, so you should feel very legit.
God. I'm honored.
Yeah, and we have the largest selection actually of brands, dancewear brands. We have costumes, so that's a huge part of the business is the B2B side where we sell to studios and teachers. It's a very exciting business. It's a really cool company. I love it because to me it intersects, marketing and the performing arts, and it's a company that's really committed to being a pillar within the performing arts community. So, I love that aspect, and it's great that it's afforded me this opportunity to costume with their styles for Chicago.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this was your first podcast, I learned.
First one.
On video and everything. Like you went from no podcast to like level 10. We're like this is like,
yeah, not nerve-wracking at all.
Yeah, not at all, right? Just going from none to, 3 cameras set up, and it's going to be on YouTube. Everybody's going to watch it.
Standard operating procedure for me.
0 to 100.
Yeah,
I'm the same way. Yeah, I love it. Well, I think you did awesome, and it was great.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great to have you on, and you're doing a lot of stuff, and it's really cool, and I love your commitment to the community and the arts and just all this stuff. It's cool, and like I said earlier, I know I say this all the time, but like I just really like connecting with people that just are absolutely obsessed with like everything that they do. Like it's I forget the word I'm trying to think of. It's contagious. That's it.
Yeah, it is. I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's contagious, and like I think it was just kind of weird fate that happened that you came on the show because like I said, every next guest of this show kind of just sort of happens. Half them come to me, half them I go to them, but it's kind of like, people are drawn to each other's energy.
Yeah.
And I think this kind of, happens intentionally.
Yeah, it's that synergy.
It is.
See?
I do. I really do believe that. Like, I really do. Especially like the longer that this show has gone on, it's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
The amount of people that I met, the connections, and just like, you know, we knew each other, but like we never really knew this much
Right.
about each other.
Yeah.
You know, and it's cool just to learn about all the stuff that you're doing. Like I applaud you. So
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, you're in a cool spot. You get to peel back all of the layers of like the onion on somebody.
yeah, it's like it's easier. I get to ask all the questions, and you just get to keep talking and talking. Well, this is great. Again, I appreciate you having on. So, Chloe Fanelli on the Stacks podcast in the Blue Door Studio. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Bill.